Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Kim Site doing another segment of My Mondays. Today's segment of My Mondays, what I just want to talk about is by this being basically the end of the month. I said basically it being by being the end of the month, but it's actually the end of the month by being January 31st. I just want to talk about this. I just want to talk about maximization. I just want to talk about this because some very important people have some very important dates, and I feel like by talking about this topic, like it just relates to them, and it also relates to me because I feel like as myself, like I done maximize everything that I could possibly do in my life. Not saying there's not more I can do, but there's very little things that hold me back from maximizing my potential. And I just want to get into that too, but also I just want to start off with this definition about maximization from dictionary.com. Dictionarycambridge.org, my bad. And basically what maximization means is the process of making something as great in amount, size, or important as possible. And what that doesn't mean to me is it doesn't matter, like I had said, summing it up, it's just don't matter how far and dire the outcome or the situation can be, you still gonna give it your all. And it just also just states that to me is like you just doing the best you can and getting the best out of that situation. Like these are people that I'm talking about that I don't want to share at the end because I don't want to share it at the beginning because it's just going to distract my audience from the importance of this message. But what I'm just getting at is maximization is just like no matter what comes upon your way, you still going to be the best at it. You still going to have all things set in line. You still going to give it your all. Like this comes upon situations where I was at and where I had to learn how to become a man when I was in college, where it was just like times was tough, man. Like this, like me learning how to become a man is what made me who I am today. And there was times where it's just like we had family issues and I still had to juggle school and taking care of the family at home, and I still did it. And luckily enough, I came out on top. Like I ended up graduating college with honors and stuff like that, and I still was able to attend important events like such as going to California for a national conference and stuff like that. And even despite, like I said, despite these situations that was coming upon my way, like it's like my family is struggling and I had to go back home and work and stuff like that, I still was managing to able to do those things. And even when I got out of school, like there was times where it was just like I couldn't find a job that I felt like was paying me enough, but I still kept on pushing, and I was able to land in the shipyard. And even that, like getting a good name for myself. And there was things that was going on in the shipyard that I can't talk about, but there was times where it was getting very difficult for me in the shipyard because people didn't thought I lived up to the standard, or there was certain things going on, and I still managed to be at the top of my game. And I'm just saying that not to brag to no one, anybody in this podcast or on my YouTube channel, but I'm just telling y'all just a little bit of my background, just giving y'all a little bit of information about myself because I've always gave forth my best effort, and that's why I'm in the situation I'm in to this day. And even with this podcast, like I'm always trying to learn new ways how to better and grow myself. And even just like now, I'm learning how to edit videos. I'm learning these things, and I'm doing this just to maximize my potential, maximize myself. Just because like I can't get someone to edit videos for me doesn't mean I can't do it myself, or I can't do it to the best of my ability. And that's all I'm just saying. And these two people that I just want to talk about is like they the share example. If you can't understand my example of myself, you understand these two people's example. The first one is Tom Brady. Like I'm not a huge fan of Tom Brady, but he was drafted in the 6th round, 199th pick. He was 4th-string quarterback in the year 2020. He was a backup to Drew Bledsoe, and he still managed to be the greatest champion of all time in the NFL. I didn't say greatest quarterback because that's just my personal opinion, but he's still the greatest champion of all time in the NFL. He didn't allow his slow 40 time to dictate how great of a champion he was. He didn't allow games where he was down 28-3 in the Super Bowl to dictate his success. He didn't allow him being down by 10 points to the Seattle Seahawks to dictate his success. He just went out there, grind, and ball hard. And if you know anything about him maximizing himself, all you gotta do is look at his diet and routine where he does. And I might be wrong about this, but he don't mix fruit with vegetables, and he don't lift weights. He sticks to that routine. He only eats, I think, avocado ice cream. He maximized himself to the best of his ability, and he retired after 22 years on top. Like, no matter what we want to say, the man threw 43 touchdowns and was leading the league in receiving and passing yards, and he still was the best at doing that. And so that was just one example where it's just like, despite all outcomes, he still didn't allow those situations to dictate how great he was because he maximized himself. So I'm encouraging y'all to do the same thing. And also, another person, so the late, great Kobe Bryant, who passed away on January 6, 2020. I don't need to say no more about that, about him passing away. But he was drafted he was drafted first round, 13th pick, in arguably the greatest draft class ever in NBA history. And he was barely in the lottery and stuff like that. And he still put forth the grind. His first year in the NBA was rough. He didn't have the greatest first year. But then he kept on working, he kept on grinding. By the time his second year, he was an all-star, slam dunk competition champion. His grind and effort to the point he just loved it. He loved his grind. But the thing of it is about them two examples is they maximized themselves. They didn't allow situations to come upon them where they said they couldn't do it, and they will be stopped. No, every time they came upon a situation, they figured it out, and they just did whatever they could and everything in their will just to be the best. And that's the definition of maximization. If you can't do anything in this year, 2022, just understand, nothing can stop you from being the best you could be and maximize yourself. And I feel like I don't have nothing else to say, nothing more to say, but let's maximize yourself, maximize your potential. And maybe you could be on the same level as Kobe. Maybe you could be on the same level as Tom Brady, because that's my goal, is to be the best I could be. And with that being said, y'all, this is Kim Sites doing the other segment of My Mind Monday.
What can I say? Mamba out.